All right, so if you're like me, right? You're working a 9 to 5, but you want to trade. You want to look at the charts. You want to look at the screen, but you're obviously occupied with your day job. You're occupied with your 9 to 5. It's not like okay, you can't just leave for an hour, right? You have your job that you have to do, but deep down inside you want to trade. This is what you want to do. You want to day trade, and I might touch on my story a little bit, what I did in order to be able to trade while working a full time 9 to 5. Right, it wasn't the easiest. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't easy at all, and how I was able to do this. But if you want something bad enough, you'll figure it out. And I'm not saying also don't quit your job because you have one good trade. You have one good month, 2 good months. Don't quit and then just go all out on trading because that's stupid. Like show some consistency, like at least 6 months to like maybe a year. It's different depending on you and if you have enough capital to make a living off of it, so be it. But I'm gonna touch on my story on how I was able to trade while I was working a full time 9 to 5. So I was working in wealth management. I was working in a large company. I'm not gonna mention the name because a lot of you would know the company, but I was working corporate, so I was in an office. I was looking at computer screens all day, but I wasn't looking at the charts how I wanted to. I wasn't trading. I wasn't trading my Nvidia, my baby Nvidia. I wasn't trading it. So essentially, I was doing a lot of admin work, like opening accounts for people, for clients, opening like transferring money, placing trades for like clients, who would just like be like, hey, I need to buy 500 shares of Apple, like those type of trades. They were more like long term, whatever. That's besides the point. So at this job, right, I'm not even allowed to really even trade. Like I can buy because they monitor my trades. So I technically wasn't even allowed to really trade. But you know me, if you know something bad enough, and I'm not working there anymore, so it doesn't really matter. But if you want something bad enough, if I want something bad enough, I'm gonna figure it out. So at this company, when you work for a brokerage, which I was working for, you're not allowed to have external accounts, at least with this company. And if you do have an external account, they do monitor it or they just tell you to shut it down. But in my case, I was somehow able to get away with having a Webull account and working at this company that I worked for, its competitor. Because Webull, I love the Webull's platform. It's super user friendly. Like the interface is so much smoother than a lot of these like bigger firms. I think Thinkorswim is a good platform as well, but Webull is always updating its interface, very user friendly, and it has everything that I need. So I had a Webull account on the side while I was working at this firm. Mind you, I'm not even allowed to have this account, so I don't know how it was flagged. I don't know how it wasn't like in the system, on our side, but that's besides the point. So I would go into the office, right? I would get in like 8:30, do what I had to do, open these accounts for these clients, whatever. So I had two monitors. I have one monitor, the actual work screen, and then I had one monitor, just the charts. I was using the charts for the program or for the brokerage I was working for. It's shitty as fuck. So I wasn't able to use Webull how I wanted to, but it's the next best thing. If I want to look at my baby Nvidia, this is literally the only thing I trade. But if I wanted to look at Nvidia, I would have to pull up our own brokerage and just pull it up, our brokerage platform, trading platform, pull it up on my second monitor. So it didn't look suspicious, right? Because I'm working at this company. I have my company's platform on the screen, and I had my work on this screen. So I had the charts on one and my actual work on the other. And mind you, me being in a wealth management or working for a brokerage firm, it doesn't look suspicious at all if there's charts on my screen. So I would walk in, 8 o'clock, do what I had to do for an hour and 20 minutes ish. Around 9:20, that's when I would start to do my little research, my little digging on, all right, what's good for the day. What are we? How's Nvidia looking, or how's SPY looking? How's QQQ looking? Just the overall market. So I'd hop in there, and yeah, I'm on that screen, and then occasionally the advisors I work for would come by and be like, "No, I'm just doing what I got to do. I made sure I did a lot of work before market open, just so like I can give myself that buffer of like 30, 45 minutes, maybe even an hour to like trade. But I'm working in a like a service associate, client service associate. That's what they called it. So a client could call in, right? Like we have a book of business. A client can call in and want to place a trade. So I'd have to obviously pick up, place a trade for the client, or a client could just call in general. Like one of our clients was worth a lot of money, like over 200 mil. He can call at any time just to say hi, and I could be like in a trade, and I'm like, I gotta whatever he wants, I have to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like multitasking at its finest. And the toughest part is when I was working and trading, what if the advisors I was working for called me into their office and I was already in an open trade? Let me explain how I was even trading, right? I mentioned that I had the screen, the chart on the screen, and I had the account, my admin stuff on the other screen. But I was actually, as I mentioned, I had the platform I was looking at the charts on, but then I had my phone in front of me with Webull open. So if I saw a play that I wanted to attack on the chart, I would go to my phone, go to Webull, place the trade. And I would have to hope like no one called in, hoped no one needed me to do anything within that specific time period. I typically would trade from like 9:30 to like 10, like 10:15, 10:30 max. I would just look at the charts, make sure I had everything done, right? You make sure like I'm doing my work. It's not like I'm not doing my work. I just made sure I did a lot of it before and I would do a lot of it after. So I would place the trades on my phone. And I have under 25K in the account, so I only had 3 day trades to really work with. So it's not like I was doing this every single day. Once, like you have to be very specific in your trades, very strategic, because you don't want to just hop in just because you can hop in. If you're under the PDT rule, you only have those 3 day trades. So it's not like you could just be jumping in and out. And also, I feel like being under that PDT rule is actually beneficial if you're starting. Because say you have like 30, 40K in your account, you're just going to trade every opportunity, or everything that's in front of you is going to seem like an opportunity. And you're just going to want to place trades just to place trades just because you have the money to. You're not going to do it because you're not going to be smart about it. You're just going to take any play just because you have the ability to. So that's why I'm kind of thankful. Like I was training under the PDT rule because you have to be very like, okay, this is the risk to reward here has to be good, because if it's not, then there's no point of even placing the trade. All right, so I was doing this a couple times a week, right? Doing that. So that was Tuesday through Friday. I would have the multiple charts up. I'd be in the office. Monday, right? Monday, thankfully, I was working from home. So Monday, I'd make sure I had at least a day trade on Mondays because I had these 2 monitors, right? I had my work shit over here, and then I had my actual monitor where I'm looking at charts over here. Mondays were the days for me because I was working remote. So if you're in a situation where you're working a 9 to 5, like at least in an office setting, I would say try to see if you can be remote, because I know since COVID, like at least have a day to work remote, a day or two to work remote. But that did hurt me a little bit on Mondays because I was kind of forcing myself to place a trade because I was at my setup and I was like itchy to get into the market because the weekend and it's Monday, it's my remote day. So I have everything in front of me. So I wanted to take advantage of everything that I had while I had it, because I don't want to go back into the office and like be looking at these bum ass charts from the platform that I was using and like have to place trades on my phone. It's like a delay and on like, because it's not, there's a lot going on when you're in the office. It's not like you're solely focused on the charts. Like when I'm at home, I have a little music, like some chill, like mellow, like music playing in the background, not too loud. Like I have my breakfast in front of me, my little tea. and I'm chilling. But when you're in the office, you got the phones ringing, you got people asking you questions, or people that just want to talk to you. So you gotta be like zoned in, right? So while also I was in the office, back to the office setting, I would have like the regular iPhone headphones in. So I'd have those in when I was trading time in the office, so no one could really like try to spark a conversation with me, just so I can kind of be like locked in. Um, so while in the office, we trade from like 9:30 ish to like 10:30, or at least pay attention to the charts. And I was doing this for like a couple months, not even like a month or two, and it just got to the point like I would be in a trade, right, and then I would have to go like leave my desk, and I say I was like in a meeting or I had a meeting. It's not like I just pull my phone out and close the trade. So I was messing up. I was fucking up a lot because I would be in an open position. I wouldn't be able to close it. Or I would try to navigate to my phone somehow while I'm in the meeting or while I'm on a call and like try to close the trade. I'm like, how do I gotta get out of this? And I don't have the chart in front of me if I'm like in a different area in the building. So I got to the point where it wasn't like benefiting me, and my like trading habits started to diminish. Like I wasn't picking up good habits because I was just doing things that I normally wouldn't do if I was at home, had the screens in front of me. So I stopped doing that, like stopped trading in the office because it wasn't beneficial at all, and that's kind of why I left my job back in August, so like 6 months ago. It was more so to have time to actually look at the charts. Uh, but you need money, right, in order to trade. It's not like the money I had saved. I couldn't just bank on just trading. So I started working part time, or no, I started working full time at a casino. So I'm at this casino. I'm certain days of the week I go in at 10 a.m. So I obviously can't really trade, and then certain days of the week I go in at 12. So I'm like lit. I got the whole morning, do whatever, and I could still go to the casino, make some money. Obviously, it's not nearly. I'm getting paid half of what I was getting paid at my original job, but it allowed me the freedom to have 3 days a week where I could look at the charts. I didn't have to waste a day trade because I didn't have to wait till Monday because it's my only day at home. I didn't have to waste trades just because like my opportunities were so limited. My time looking at the charts were so limited. I didn't have to waste them. So I had the luxury of having like I'm still at that place at the casino. So I have a couple days where I can be at home. Don't have to go into work till 12. So I'm like lit. And then going forward, my schedule is gonna be 12 to 8:30. So I can every morning like I had trade, and I'm like, let's go. And if you can, this is my tip for you, right? If you can work an afternoon job like how I'm doing, I'm not getting paid nearly as much as I was when I was in that office and that working for for that firm. That it's a everyone knows this firm. I'm not gonna say it. I was making close to 100K, like stability, benefits, nice office. I had everything. Like on paper, it looks like I had everything, but mentally inside, like it, it just wasn't what I wanted to do. It wasn't the route I wanted to take, especially doing all the admin shit. I got into finance to trade, to look at charts, to do that type of thing. What I was doing was just admin, opening accounts. So, and I wanted to trade for my own account. I wanted to day trade, right? So, if you're in a similar situation where you're working a 9 to 5 or you're doing something like in a similar boat when you're in the office, or even if it's like a construction job or whatever, I would say just somehow try to either flip your hours or work a job that has afternoon hours. Like even if you have to take a pay cut, like I said, I was getting paid close to 100K. I'm getting paid half of that, if that. And I'm dealing with like these rude ass customers in this, excuse me, these rude ass customers in the casino, and it's like I'm working with people. Like I went to this good school. I was working with like these college educated people, whatever, like smart individuals, right? Like very smart individuals. And then I go to work in the casino, and it's just like a whole different crowd of people you're working with. I'm not trying to like shit on like no one, but like it's just very different from where I was at. Like just the conversations you're having, uh, and just the people you're around is very different. And I'm getting paid half of what I was getting paid. I'm telling people like where I was working before, and they were like, "Why are you at this casino?" And I'm like, "It's deeper than it's a lot to it. It's a lot to it, man." So I treat the trading like as a business, right? Like it's my business. Like you know how sometimes people need to do certain things for their business, whether it be take a lower pay, work X amount of hours, 80 hours a week. This is essentially me growing my business. My trading is my business. And if you really are passionate about trading, like how I am, like there's just so many opportunities it opens for you. Freedom, just able to make money from anywhere and just know the possibilities are endless. If you're in a similar boat, try to work in the afternoon, bro. Like try to work a job that's in the afternoon. If you're on the West Coast, you're a little bit luckier because you can trade at 6:30. The market opens, so you could still trade for an hour, 6:30 to 7:30, and then go to your 9 to 5. Like that's fine. Uh, so you lucked out there, like being on the West Coast, a couple hours behind. I'm living in New York, so the market opens 9:30 here, so it's kind of tough to just like be out and do what I want to do. Or you could swing trade, right? Instead of day trading, you could swing trade, but it's not. It's a different type of style. Your risk, your stop. You got to set your stop loss a little bit closer, a little bit tighter than you would if you were day trading, I would say. But it's kind of the set it and forget it mindset because you don't have to be glued to the charts. You don't have to be glued to the screen. I mean, I'm trying to think what other methods, bro. Like, you could try to do what I was doing, kind of try to like sneak it in while you're in the office or while you're in your job. But if you're not at your setup, like if you don't have your monitor, you don't have your screens in front of you, however many screens. Like I only need one screen. I don't need a million fucking screens. But if you don't have your monitor, if you're trading on your phone, like don't do that. Like doing what I was doing, that shit was dumb. Like I was just losing money. And not even cuz I was losing money because I didn't have the like I'd be up in the green but I just couldn't close the position cuz I'm not looking at my phone. Like you could set your stop losses and your like take profits, but that's another method. I mean, so being on the West Coast, working in the afternoon, like bartending, whatever. If you have to take a pay cut, bro, take a pay cut. Like if you need to work a lower end job, I would say do that because the opportunities that trading allows you to do once you do it full time, like it's gonna be a struggle right now. It's gonna be a struggle for a little bit, but like I rather take this risk right now of like all right, I'm not getting paid how I want to get paid, but I'm like progressing this skill. I'm learning this skill where I could take this skill anywhere with me. This skill is can go anywhere. I can be literally anywhere. And just more so think of it like that. Don't think because I the stability aspect, like having the retirement, waiting till I'm 65, like that's cool and all, but that's not really for me. So I'd rather take this risk right now while I still have the luxury to move back home, while I still have the luxury to work this job, like this part time or full time job, but in the afternoons. Like, do something like you'll figure it out. The moral of this story, the moral of me telling my story on how I was able to trade and work full time is if you really want to do this, because I don't recommend quitting like completely just to trade. You need some sort of income while you're in the growing process. I would say take a pay cut, bro. Just take a pay cut that pays your expenses and maybe a little bit more, but something that allows you to trade. Like, just do it. Like, if you got a bartend, if you got a Uber drive, if you got a, I don't know. There's plenty of jobs you can work overnight, or not overnight, but at night or in the afternoon. It's there. Like, if you're miserable, if you feel stuck and you're not doing your passion, when it comes to trading at least, I would say kind of, I hope my story helps you in trying to navigate on what you can do. But if you need to stay at that job that you're at and it's like hindering your trading, try to finesse it somehow. Like, I don't try to finesse it somehow while you're in the office, while you're at the construction job, while you're. I don't recommend it because you're not gonna have be at your setup, but I don't know. I think you'll be able to figure it out. So, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna leave you with that. I was rambling for a little bit, but stay tuned. More videos where I'm doing my analysis. I have a couple of those where I show my profit, my loss. So I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna show everything: profit, loss, green days, green days, red days. Show all of that because I'm trying. I want to be as transparent as possible because you're not gonna. Every day is not gonna be a green day. And that's really it. So stay tuned. Peace.